Will the House come to order? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Alcos, Ms. Amato, Ms. Bellotti, Mr. Chun, Ms. Cochran, Mr. Evslin, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Garrett, Ms. Grandinetti, Mr. Hashem, Mr. Holt, Mr. Hussey,
Excused?
Mr. Iligan, Ms. Iwamoto, Ms. Kahaloa, Ms. Capella, Ms. Kohokapu Liloi, Mr. Kila, Ms. Kitagawa, Mr. Kong, Mr. Kush, Ms. Lachika, Ms. Lamosao, Mr. Lee, Ms. Lowen, Ms. Martin, Mr. Matayoshi, Ms. Matsumoto, Mr. Miyake, Ms. Morikawa, Mr. Muraoka, Ms. Nakamura, Mr. Olds, Ms. Peruso, Mr. Pirik, Ms. Poe Poe, Mr. Quinlan, Ms. Reyes Oda, Mr. Sayama, Mr. Shimizu, Ms. Souza, Mr. Takayama, Ms. Takenouchi, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tarnas, Ms. Templo, Mr. Todd, Mr. Ward,
Excused?
Mr. Woodson, Mr. Yamashita. Madam Speaker.
Here.
Madam Speaker, 49 members are present, 2 are excused.
Item number 2, reading of the journal. Representative Morikawa.
Madam Speaker, may this matter be deferred.
So ordered. Item number 3, messages from the governor. Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the governor?
Madam Speaker, there are none.
Item number 4, Senate communications. Mr. Clerk, are there any Senate communications?
Yes, Madam Speaker, we are in receipt of a communication returning the noted House bill having passed third reading in the Senate.
Introductions. Members, are there any introductions? Okay, seeing none, we'll turn to the order of the day. Oh, excuse me. We are going to take a short recess. Recess subject to the call of the chair. Or floor presentation first? Floor presentation first. Sorry, members, excuse me. Forgot we have a floor presentation. Order of the day, item number 5, floor presentations. Mr. Clerk, are there any floor presentations?
Yes, Madam Speaker, we have one floor presentation today. House Resolution number 214, honoring the recipients of the 2024 Healthcare Association of Hawaii Healthcare Heroes Award. This resolution is offered by Representative Takenouchi.
Representative Takenouchi.
Madam Speaker, I move to adopt the resolution.
Representative Chun.
Madam Speaker, I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the resolution be adopted. Any discussion? Representative Takenouchi.
Thank you. In support, today we have the honor of recognizing the Healthcare Association of Hawaii 2024 Healthcare Heroes. The Healthcare Association of Hawaii has been on the front lines of healthcare since 1939 and are committed to working with providers across the continuum of care to promote a thriving and robust health system. The Healthcare Heroes program was created in 2014 to recognize the remarkable professionals who go above and beyond in their commitment to care for patients across our islands, not just to heal, but comfort, advocate, and inspire. Each of our honorees was nominated by patients who had meaningful, impactful interactions with their healthcare provider during their time of need. To learn about our first honoree today, I yield to the representative from Mililani and Waipio.
Representative Takenouchi. I'm sorry, Representative Lachika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In support? Today, I would like to recognize someone who epitomizes the true spirit of care, commitment, and unwavering service in healthcare. It is my great honor to acknowledge a remarkable individual whose actions symbolize what it means to be a 2024 Hawaii Healthcare Hero, Trevor Fujisaka. Please stand. Trevor's journey in healthcare began with a moment that changed his life, a childhood experience watching paramedics care for his father. That moment sparked a passion that led him to serve as a paramedic for the city and county of Honolulu, carrying on the legacy of selflessness as a healthcare professional and those before him. In August 2024, Trevor and his colleague, Alan Zhang, responded to an emergency at Kamehameha School swimming pool where 17-year-old Dustin Kealoha was unresponsive. Faced with a dire situation, Trevor refused to give up, administering CPR and kept going for over half an hour until Dustin's pulse returned and was moved to the ambulance for transport. While on the way to the hospital, Trevor performed additional life-saving CPR when Dustin became unresponsive again, ensuring that Dustin made it to the hospital safely. Trevor's critical actions that day prevented the Kealoha Ohana from mourning 2 deaths, having lost Dustin's twin sister, Tehani, just 3 months prior. Due to Trevor's commitment to providing critical and life-saving care, Dustin was able to work through months of rehabilitation therapy and eventually pursued his dreams of attending college at Dartmouth, where he is now a freshman. Trevor, your hard work, relentless commitment, and heart of service reflect the very best of Hawaii's healthcare community. Mahalo, Trevor, for your service. Members, please join me in congratulating Trevor Fujisaka as our 2024 Healthcare Association of Hawaii Healthcare Hero. Madam Speaker, I would like to now yield to my colleague from Kaneohe.
Representative Matayoshi.
Madam Speaker, I rise in support. It is my privilege to recognize Dr. Darrell Glazer as a 2024 Hawaii Healthcare Hero for his devotion and compassion that has left an indelible impact on the lives of his patients and our community. If you could please rise. As a respected pediatric hematologist and oncologist, Dr. Glazer's work with Hawaii Pacific Medical Group, Kapiolani Medical Center for Women and Children, and the University of Hawaii's John A. Burns School of Medicine reflects his deep passion for advancing healthcare across our islands. But his greatest impact is found in the lives that he's touched. Lives like Reason Davis, who was recently diagnosed at the age of 7 with severe aplastic anemia, a rare blood disorder. Dr. Glazer stayed by her side every step of the way as they traversed the ups and the downs of battling this disease. His relentless pursuit of the best care for Reason encompasses assembling an expert team of medical professionals to be a constant and reliable resource amidst the uncertainty of hospitalizations, clinical visits, treatment sessions, and unexpected medical complications. Dr. Glazer's unwavering support, even on his days off, have provided hope and healing, not just to Reason, but to her entire family. Through the most difficult moments and the most joyous, like celebrating Reason's Make-A-Wish Disney World reveal, Dr. Glazer has proven that being a healthcare hero isn't just about treatment, but about heart, devotion, and the belief that no patient should ever feel alone in their journey. Dr. Glazer, your resilience, compassion, and unwavering devotion to your patients embody the very best of healthcare in Hawaii. We are grateful for your service and are honored to celebrate you here today. Colleagues, please join me in congratulating Dr. Darrell Glazer as a 2024 Healthcare Association of Hawaii Healthcare Hero. I would now like to yield to my colleague from Kailua.
Representative Lee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support. I have the privilege today to honor an exceptional healthcare professional whose journey, dedication, and heart have touched the lives of so many. It is my privilege to recognize Renee Kojima as a 2024 Hawaii Healthcare Hero. Unfortunately, Renee was not able to attend today's presentation. However, Jay Takahashi Niota, a fellow nurse manager at PharmaCare Hawaii, is here on her behalf. Jay, will you please stand? Renee's path to healthcare wasn't traditional. She once dreamed of a career in fashion design. However, through volunteering at a doctor's office and later Castle Hospital emergency room, she discovered her true passion in helping others. That passion has driven her ever since. leading her to become a home infusion nurse at Pharmacare Hawaii, where she brings not just expert care, but also love, kindness, and providing a sense of community to every patient she serves. Her dedication is exemplified in her care for David Olmos, a retired veteran who was diagnosed with gastroesophageal reflux disease and failure to thrive. Renee's keen attention and quick action saved David's life on more than one occasion during her weekly visits to the Olmos home. On one occasion, she found David had dangerously high blood pressure, and her urgent referral to the hospital resulted in a 30-day hospital stay where they uncovered pneumonia, a blood clot, and other critical conditions. Another time, David complained of severe pain, and Renee urged him to seek care, resulting in an emergency appendix removal. Beyond these medical interventions, Renee's care transformed David's entire outlook on life, helping him move from struggles of depression to gratitude and motivation in his everyday life through her support and her uplifting words every week. This is the essence of what it means to be a Hawaii healthcare hero, going above and beyond, not just treating conditions, but changing lives. Please join me in recognizing Renee Kojima as a 2024 Healthcare Association of Hawaii Healthcare Hero. Yield to the representative from Hilo.
Representative Leloy.
Madam Speaker, I rise in support. Today, colleagues, we have the honor of celebrating a truly remarkable nurse whose sharp attention to detail and an unwavering devotion have made a life-changing impact to her patient, a newborn. It is my privilege to recognize Karen Oskin as a 2024 Hawaii Healthcare Hero. As a registered nurse in obstetrics at Hilo Benioff Medical Center, Karen has always gone above and beyond the call for her patients throughout her time there. Under her thoughtful care, her kind heart, and her extraordinary attention to detail, she makes the biggest difference to the patients she serves. On May 31st, 2024, her quick instincts made all the difference for Nicole Yamashita's newborn daughter, Layla. On a quiet day in the nursery, Karen volunteered to give Layla her first bath before her anticipated discharge, a simple act which turned into a life-saving moment. During that bath, Karen noticed signs of a serious intestinal malformation and immediately called in a medical team for an urgent evaluation. Her keen eye allowed Layla to be scheduled for an emergency transportation to Kapiolani Medical Center for Women and Children on Oahu, as no pediatric surgeon is available on Hawaii Island. As baby Layla waited for the flight, Karen continued to reassure the Yamashita Ohana, monitoring and providing updates on Layla until she was able to leave. After Layla was safely on Oahu, Karen remained in constant source of support, encouragement, and hope. She became Layla's biggest cheerleader, checking in on the family throughout the several months the baby spent in the neonatal intensive care unit. Karen, your beautiful heart, enthusiasm, kindness, and commitment reminds us all of the incredible impact a healthcare professional can have. Congratulations and mahalo for your service. Members, please join me in congratulating Karen Oskin as the 2024 Healthcare Association of Hawaii Healthcare Hero. Madam Speaker, I now yield to my colleague from Waipahu.
Representative Chun.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In support. So I would like to recognize Sarah Kahelelani Hatsukuma, who unfortunately was not able to attend today's presentation. Sarah is an extraordinary nurse whose kindness, commitment, and selflessness represents the true spirit of a 2024 Hawaii healthcare hero. Lastly, on behalf of the House of Representatives, I would like to thank the guests in the gallery who have joined us to recognize our awardees. I would ask them to please stand to be recognized. Madam Speaker, I would like to request that their names be inserted into the journal.
So ordered.
Right. Thank you.
Members, any further discussion? Okay, if not, we'll be taking a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. The motion is carried. Representative Takenouchi, please proceed with the certificate and lay presentation. The chair will now call a recess to allow the members of the House to meet and congratulate the honorees. Recess. Will the House come to order? We're on item number 6, reports of standing committees. Representative Todd.
Madam Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report numbers 1564 through 1628, as listed on pages 2 through 21, and that the accompanying House resolutions and House concurrent resolutions, as may be amended, be referred to their designated committees.
Representative Morikawa.
Madam Speaker, I second the motion.
Members, we'll be taking up discussion of companion measures in tandem, beginning with House Standing Committee Reports numbers 1564 and 1565. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Next is Standing Committee Reports 1566 and 1567. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1568 and 1569. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1570 and 1571. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1572 and 1573. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1574 and 1575. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1576 and 1577. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1578 and 1579. 1580 and 1581. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Souza.
No vote.
So ordered. (1582) and 1583, Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Moroka.
Same request.
So ordered. Numbers 1584 and 1585, Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1586 and 1587. 1588. 1589. 1590. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1591 and 1592, Representative Garcia.
Reservations.
So ordered. Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support with reservations and comment, please.
Please proceed.
I'm all for this, this study. What I have reservations about is the fact that it is trying to establish a monetary value on what has already happened, and that would introduce a lot of speculation. I would prefer that we would look forward and look at what possible monetary gain we could quantify at this point going forward, that we could use as beneficial information for our lease negotiations. So that's my thought. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
1593 and 1594. 1595, Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1596, Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1597 and 1598, Representative Souza.
With reservations.
So ordered. 1599 and 1600, Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Garcia.
In opposition?
Please proceed.
Thank you. Just want to say that climate change is not a public health emergency. No vote.
Representative Akos.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in opposition with a brief comment, please.
Please proceed.
As a member of this House of Representatives, I agree that we should be cognizant of threats, but to say that this is a dire threat to public health and declare it as a public health emergency, I feel that that's going a little beyond what is the situation. And with all due respect to my distinguished colleague from Kailua Kona, I rise in opposition. So thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Moroka.
Same request.
So ordered. Okay, turning to Standing Committee Report 1601 and 1602. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1603 and 1604. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Souza.
No vote, brief comment.
Please proceed.
There are certain issues that I see in this particular resolution. The first is that on the first page, it talks about sanctuary locations. So it's unclear whether this resolution is meant to create locations or just one location, which it talks about as the resolution goes on. It says that it's asking the governor's coordinator on homelessness to designate a specific location on state or county land. And I guess the question is, prematurely, where would this be? This sounds a lot like the HONU program with the city, and that currently is set up in Kapolei. And I also take issue with the fact that we're asking the governor's coordinator on homelessness to contract with qualified churches as one of the entities. So that could be a slippery slope with the establishment clause. So in opposition, thank you.
Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in strong support. This, with comments.
Please proceed.
This is just an idea and a vision of, again, helping our homeless population and providing a place where they would be cared for and attended to, instead of them having to find places that they think are safe and defecating wherever they are, just because they have no place to go. You know, it's interesting that before the previous homeless coordinator was replaced, I did have a meeting with him and presented this resolution, and he was very excited about it and was saying that he would do his best to try and implement some of these ideas. Of course, the exact location has to be determined, and that is up for discussion. But again, this is a tool, an option to help, again, our homeless population that is a problem that is exploding all around us in all of our communities. I'm sure we experience it. And this is just a proposal to try and say, this is an option. Let's consider it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Souza, second time.
Second time, thank you, Madam Speaker. Just in rebuttal, I do believe that this resolution is asking for what we already have in place, which is the HONU program. It's asking the governor's coordinator on homelessness and the city and county of Honolulu, who actually is responsible for the HONU program, to basically come up with this sanctuary pilot program that does the exact same thing, from my understanding, that the HONU program does. Thank you.
Representative Garcia.
In support?
Please proceed.
I just want to mention that it was mentioned that this resolution might have a concern regarding the establishment clause because it mentions working with churches. But the state of Hawaii has for decades worked with nonprofit organizations, and they receive both federal and state grants to address homelessness. Many churches do, and I think we should continue working with our nonprofit entities, which includes faith-based organizations. Thank you.
Representative Shimizu, second time.
Still in strong support with comment, please.
Please proceed.
It was mentioned that this is the same program as the HONU program, which it is not. The HONU project is a temporary model that moves from place to place. This would be more of a well, it wouldn't be a temporary thing that would be moving around. It would be something that would try to be established. And again, this is a 2-year pilot program, something that, again, is really an experiment to see, is this something that will work? It's interesting that the HONU project was mentioned. I did have opportunity to meet in person with the current director of the law enforcement, Mike Lambert, who was previously with HPD and involved very intimately with the HONU project, had conversation with him and
try to learn from him the things that could be put in place that would make this program an advancement to what HONU started to do. So those are things that I'd like to present to the body, and I appreciate the kind consideration. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Standing Committee Reports 1605 and 1606, Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pierrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Report number 1607 and 1608, Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Muraoka.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pierrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Alcos.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in opposition with comment, please.
Please proceed.
With all due respect to my colleague from Lanikai, I appreciate the idea of this resolution, and I support it in wholeheartedness. What I oppose is the belief that there will be cuts to Medicaid, which I believe at this time it is untouchable. And as a member of even the minority caucus, I would strongly voice my opposition to any administration that would be considering cuts to Medicaid benefits. So because of that, I rise in opposition. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Martin.
Thank you. I rise in support. And I would encourage any of my colleagues, should there be cuts to Medicaid, to consider switching parties. Thank you.
Members, any further discussion? Representative Garcia.
In opposition?
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I understand there is a lot of concern and fear across our country and even here in Hawaii because the media touts lots of information which is not true, in that the current administration, the Trump administration, is trying to cut funding to various programs. This resol mentions Medicaid services. Madam Speaker, the President has said publicly and openly, time and time again, during the campaign and since he was sworn in, that services which go directly to people, Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE, Social Security, will not be touched, period. All this fear-mongering on social media and on the fake news networks is saying that the current administration plans to slash funding is simply inaccurate. Thank you.
Representative Bellotti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In strong support, strong support.
Please proceed.
It's not simply what the federal president says. The federal Congress, in a federal blueprint, has specified the amounts of monies they need to cut. People across the nation understand that these programs that support working families, that have been promised to the working people of America, are under threat. So this resolution is not simply about talking about what the federal president has said he may or may not do, but it is in fact part of the blueprint of the congressional budget that we are rallying against. And so for those reasons, people across the country need to raise their voice, and this chamber should stand up and also register and tell our governor to start planning, because the federal cuts that are coming will likely come in September, and we need to be ready as a state, because it is going to be us, and perhaps only us, who will be able to help protect our working families. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Souza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of the resolution. And I also just want to reiterate that there have already been funding cuts. Go ask the East-West Center, who is operating on their current reserves, because the funding has been cut to their cause. And also tell Native Hawaiians who have already received funding cuts to certain nonprofit programs that...
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Please state your point.
The current discussion is not regarding cuts in the Medicaid program. That's what the resolution is talking about, not the East-West Center.
Madam Speaker, point of order.
Not Native Hawaiian nonprofits, Medicaid.
Point of order, if the minority floor leader can talk about the Republican perspective and the media narrative and all of the things that he wants to talk about, I can sure as hell do the same thing.
Recess.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Will the House come to order? Representative Souza.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate that federal funding cuts have already been happening, and it's important to note too, and I'm going to go to my point of order if that's okay. Is that allowable?
If you would like to make a point of order.
I'm going to make a point of order on basically what the minority floor leader was saying when he was talking in his speech, if that's okay.
Please state your point.
My point is that he was making an argument that was not germane to the actual bill or to the actual resolution, and he was talking about the media narrative and the Trump administration and his personal views on the matter, which I believe that he also tried to say that I was not entitled to talk about.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just also want to reiterate, too, that as a Republican, I do have another perspective, and I do acknowledge what is currently happening at the federal level, which is germane to this actual resolution. Thank you.
Representative Garcia.
Madam Speaker, recess.
Recess. Will the House come to order? Members, any further discussion on Standing Committee Reports number 1607 and 1608? Representative Peruso.
In strong support, and I'd just like to enter the words of the representative from Makiki as if they were my own.
So ordered. Representative Amato.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in strong support. I would also like to request the words of the representative from Makiki entered in the journal as my own, and an additional brief comment, if I may.
So ordered.
Thank you. Just today, HHS announced the cut of another 10,000 positions to the health departments. They're taking staffing from regional offices from 10 employees down to 5. We are naive and foolish if we think that that is not going to impact patient care. Today here on the floor, we were honoring healthcare heroes. If we don't think this can impact them, we are being extremely short-sighted. I urge our colleagues to vote in support. Thank you.
Representative Matsumoto.
In opposition and permission to insert written comments into the journal.
So ordered. Okay, Standing Committee Report 1609, 1610. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Reyes-Oda.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Muraoka.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in opposition with a brief comment.
Please proceed.
I am all for studying ways that we can improve the life of our native Hawaiians, which we owe our aloha culture to. And what I'm in opposition is to consider gaming. I am totally against gambling, and I believe that that should be taken out of the resolution. But again, to my colleague from Sand Island, Ivole, I understand options that are being considered. And again, I am all for studying how we can improve the quality of life which our native Hawaiian peoples so deserve. But again, I am totally against gaming. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Pierrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Standing Committee Report 1611 and 1612. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pierrick.
In opposition.
Please proceed.
This resolution is requesting the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism to sponsor a Michelin guide for restaurants across the state. So it sounds like we're going to be paying, we're asking that this department uses tax dollars to sponsor a tour guide to visit restaurants. I mean, we've got pothole issues. We've got so many issues in our state. I'm kind of surprised I'm reading this. I'm voting no.
Representative Muraoka.
Same request.
So ordered. Report numbers 1613 and 1614. 1615 and 1616. Representative Garcia.
Reservations.
So ordered. 1617, 1618. Representative Shimizu. I'm sorry, Souza.
No vote. Thank you.
So ordered. Report number 1619 and 1620. Representative Souza.
Madam Speaker, at the appropriate time, can we go back to 1617 and 1618?
Okay, we can do that now. We're back on Standing Committee Reports 1617, 1618.
Still no, and permission to insert comments into the journal.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back to 1619 and 1620. 1621, 1622. 1623 and 1624. 1625 and 1626. 1627 and 1628. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Reyes-Oda.
Reservations.
So ordered. Representative Muraoka.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Alcos.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pierrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support with reservations and brief comment, please.
Please proceed.
Yes, I agree that we honor, respect, and value every person as a human being, whatever their personal choice or preference, especially our women. But I also believe that men should not be allowed to compete with a woman. And this is a fundamental protection that I'd like to make sure is taken into account to value and protect our women. Thank you.
Representative Matsumoto.
Reservations.
So ordered. Okay, members, and if there's no further discussion, we'll be taking a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Todd.
Madam Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report numbers 1629 through 1654 as listed on pages 21 through 27, and that the accompanying House resolutions and House concurrent resolutions, as may be amended, be adopted.
Representative Morikawa.
Madam Speaker, I second the motion.
Members will be taking up discussion of companion measures in tandem, beginning with Standing Committee Reports 1629 and 1630. Any discussion? Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1631 and 1632. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1633 and 1634. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1635 and 1636. Representative Pyrick.
In opposition.
Please proceed.
This resolution reads, urging the Department of Education to establish an annual climate week in all public schools across the state to spread climate awareness, education, and participation in sustainability initiatives. My understanding is that the Department of Education should focus on reading, writing, and arithmetic, not climate change.
Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Capella.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In strong support,
please proceed.
This resolution was drafted in conjunction and mainly came from students, specifically my Keiki Caucus intern, who is very passionate about supporting our environment and making sure that her and her peers are also working towards climate awareness in school and just in life, because they are inheriting this planet. Thank you.
Representative Peruso.
In strong support.
Please proceed.
I just would like to remind the body that the most effective educational practices involve authentic instruction, curriculum, and assessment. And when students are dealing with real-world problems, which climate change is, then they're more readily engaged and more excited about learning. So therefore, more likely to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. Mahalo.
Representative Pyrick, second time.
In opposition.
Please
It's
proceed.
mentioned before that climate change is a real-world problem. A majority of Americans that voted for a candidate that said climate change to some extent is a hoax.
Representative Matayoshi.
In support.
Please proceed.
As a former DOE science teacher, I want to remind us that reading, writing, and arithmetic are not the only subjects to learn in school. Also, it sounds like if half of America thinks that climate change is a hoax, then we desperately need more science in our schools.
Representative Souza.
In support, and can I have the words of the representative from Wahiawa inserted into the journal as my own?
So ordered.
Thank you.
Representative Garcia.
In opposition.
Please proceed.
I don't agree that there are other subjects besides reading, writing, and arithmetic that need to be discussed and taught in our public schools. But with our test scores so low for decades, with our shortage in all kinds of positions, I think we should focus on addressing those real issues and not having whole weeks to celebrate the climate and trying to somehow prevent it from changing. So I think our schools should focus on addressing the fact that we are not on the top 10 in America. Our DOE is in the bottom 5, and those are real issues. And at this time, I don't think climate change should be a focus in our public schools. No vote.
Standing Committee Reports 1637, 1638, 1639, and 1640. 1641, 1642, 1643, 1644, 1645, 1646. Representative Souza.
No vote. Thank you.
So ordered. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. 1647 and 1648, 1649, 1650, 1651, 1652, 1653, and 1654. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Reyes-Oda.
Reservations.
So ordered. Representative Muraoka.
Reservations.
So ordered. Okay, members, if there's no further discussion, we'll be taking a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Todd.
Madam Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report numbers 1655 through 1658 as listed on page 28, and that the accompanying Senate bills pass second reading and be placed on the calendar for third reading.
Representative Morikawa.
Madam Speaker, second the motion.
Okay, is there any discussion on these items, beginning with Standing Committee Report number 1655? Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in opposition with a comment.
Please proceed.
The reason that I'm in opposition to this bill is I believe this issue is a county issue, and the state should respect the county, any county, from governing themselves. That is the reason for my opposition. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Standing Committee Report 1656. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pyrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in opposition with brief comment.
Please proceed.
Again, the reason that I am opposing this is based on opposing testimony that I heard in committee from the prosecuting attorney, the Office of Information Practices, and the County of Hawaii Police Department. Part of it was the sensitive nature of this information being released before the case is closed, and that is the basis of my opposition. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Reyes-Oda.
Reservations.
So ordered. Standing Committee Report 1657. 1658. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Okay, members, we'll be taking a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. For the motion to suspend, Representative Morikawa.
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend the rules of the House in order to consider certain Senate bills for third reading by consent calendar.
Representative Garcia.
Madam Speaker, I second the motion.
Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Todd.
Madam Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report numbers 1659 through 1661 as listed on page 29, and that the accompanying Senate bills pass third reading.
Representative Morikawa.
Madam Speaker, I second the motion.
Is there any discussion on these items, beginning with Standing Committee Report number 1659? 1660. Representative Pyrick.
Reservations.
So ordered. 1661. Representative On 1661, Representative Reyes-Oda.
Reservations.
So ordered. Representative Shimizu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support with reservations and a comment, please.
Please proceed.
I support the idea of looking into increasing the number of parking stalls for our disabled persons. What I have reservations is the state dictating to private industries that they need to increase more parking spaces for electric vehicles, which is a considerable cost. That's the basis for my reservations. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
If there's no further discussion, Representative Morikawa for the vote.
Madam Speaker, on the measures before us, all majority members vote aye.
Representative Garcia.
Madam Speaker, on the measures before us, all minority members vote aye with the exception of the following. Reps Garcia, SCR 1661, SB number 1008, House Draft 1, Reps Garcia, Herrick, Matsumoto, and Muraoka vote no.
Members, have all votes been cast? Said bills pass third reading. Item number 7, announcements. Members, are there any announcements? Representative Sayama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to remind members and their staff that we'll be having a job fair tomorrow, Friday, March 28th at 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on 4th floor, Lanai. There are going to be many employers there ranging from state, county, UH, and congressional offices. So we do encourage session hires to go and check that out. Thank you.
Representative Kila.
Mahalo, Madam Speaker. Last Tuesday, we had students from across the state come today to compete at the Boys and Girls competition, and I'm happy to share that Ladena from the Nanakuli Boys and Girls Club was named the 2025 Hawaii State Youth of the Year. She'll be going to the regionals in June to compete with other teams from the state in the Pacific region, and hopefully will be going to the national level should she win. She'll be representing Hawaii. Mahalo.
Members, any other announcements? Representative Ilagan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just quickly, as a reminder, Filipino Caucus will be conducting a brief award ceremony at the well, if members could gather, I believe, after a moment of silence. Thank you.
Representative Matayoshi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, as you know, it is Mark Nakashima's birthday today, so I'd like to request a moment of silence for him at the appropriate time. And although a bunch of us are dressed very colorfully, I want to note that Mark, who once sang Old MacDonald Had a Farm for his raw milk bill, would probably be right there with us, getting a kick out of this as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Matayoshi. After we adjourn session, we'll have a brief moment of silence to remember our colleague, Representative Nakashima. Members, are there any additional announcements? Okay, if there are none, the chair would like to remind committee chairs that today is the lateral filing deadline for House concurrent resolutions that need to move to their final committees. Please file your committee reports and drafts with the Chief Clerk's office by 6 p.m. this evening. For the motion to adjourn, Representative Morikawa.
Madam Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 12 o'clock noon tomorrow.
Representative Garcia.
Madam Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. The House stands adjourned until 12 o'clock noon tomorrow.